Are we the same age? Are you 36?
I'm 32.
Fuck. That sucks.
If there's a team that wants to win a flag at the MCG, you'd think it's Melbourne.
Well,
and then to win one with an asterisk.
It's not an asterisk, you don't. So we had this mentality of let's all come together and collaboratively make something really cool and use this 3 years of theatre training to trick people into thinking that we're good comedy writers was the kind of mentality. I moved to Melbourne from Adelaide in year 7 and I had no friends. I went to
one of those kids.
Went to Viewbank College and I
wedgied the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
Broden Kelly.
Happy to be.
Don't clap, man. That's what I do.
I love how you started this show because I have seen you do this. You just say the name. I used to play footy.
I don't.
Let's talk to me.
I actually don't.
I played at Carlton and GWS. Let's have a chat. Let's kick back.
Who's your favourite coach?
Oh, now, so what I got out of at the time, Jimmo, he didn't give me a lot of time, but he taught me X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But then what I learnt from Jimbo is Jimbo taught that you can show up with an open heart and an open mind.
Yeah.
And an open mind can let you play the way you want to play.
Yeah, that's good. Mate, do you know what's fucked about that? Whenever I hear that shit, I just think, is this what I sound like?
I mean, any sort of conversation can be made fun of.
Yeah.
But it's also just sports teachers and stuff, you know what I mean? When Stephen King did his first press conference for the Dees last week, I was like, this is a year 9 phys ed teacher.
Yeah.
It's like, you've got to be there and apply what you've learned, but also come and say, we're having fun. You got to have fun here. And we're going to work, yes, and we're going to get some learnings out of today, but we've got to have fun. And that's what I want to bring in. Just these, and I'm sure he's a good coach. I hope he's a good coach, but everyone talks, all these words, all these phrases.
Yeah. I find like Craig McRae's like that at the moment too.
Is he?
He's very philosophical and like, I want to bring back the old press conferences, like Ross Lyon circa 2015, Mick Moldhouse circa 2010.
Just abusing Mark Robinson is what
basically.
You're saying. Yeah.
Remember when it was volatile in there? Now everyone's media trained and it's very just straight up and down.
I remember very early with Simon Goodwin, he used to say things like he used to quote movies. Like he quoted Wolf of Wall Street one time. He was like, it's Fugazi. He did a whole thing and it was really fun. And then one day I think we had a dramatic loss that we shouldn't have had. And from that day on, he just shut down shop. He went, I'm not saying anything.
It's the beginning of the end.
The word learnings became his downfall.
Hey, Broden, great start.
Thank you for having me.
No, mate. Thank you. I've honestly been a big fan of you.
Can I ask you a question?
I was midway, but yeah.
This is my show now.
Yeah.
With footy this year.
Yeah.
I've hated this year of footy.
It's been shit.
Yeah.
Like shit.
Yeah. Last year we were really blessed with
that was probably the best year.
Wonderful games everywhere turning, and we're about to see this year probably a repeat premiere for the decade for the first time.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think unless Hawks win.
I think Geelong win.
Well, yeah, that's a repeat. So we've seen from 2020.
I see what you did there.
From 2020 to now, the first 5 premiers of this decade have been new ones.
Yeah.
And it's been nice, but now we're going to see this Geelong thing or this Collingwood thing.
I don't think I can cop a Geelong. I don't think I can cop a Collingwood win.
I'm leaving the night of the grand final to Dublin, and because I'm performing in Dublin on Monday, and I built the tour because maybe Melbourne will get there. You know, you never know. Like the boys are leaving a day or two earlier than me, but I was like, I'll get in tired, but I'll see Melbourne win the 2025 flag. And about round 2, I was like, I could probably move these. But as Collingwood got better and better, I was like, no, leave the country as soon as they win the flag. So I've got contingencies ready.
You've all worked it out. Hey, there's 2 parts to you, I suppose. One is, there's probably many, but publicly.
No, just 2.
Just 2. One is publicly the Aunty Donna side, then this, over the last sort of 2-3 years, I suppose, you've always loved your footy, but then the footy with Broden Kelly has been amazing. One of the new, it's not new anymore, but I'd say very well-established podcast now with yourself and Tom and Marnie. Mm-hmm. How do you balance like both of these things together?
Great question. I don't.
Yeah.
My initial thought was because I've built a bit of a comedy fan base over a decade with the boys doing Aunty Donna, but I was like, I really like footy. I spend most of my days, and the more I got into comedy and the more that became my job, I was like, I just spent more time thinking about football and listening to SEN and watching every Fox Footy show. And so I'd like walk. I have these memories of like being in LA in Hollywood, making a Netflix show, working with like Ed Helms and all these American people, and having on my iPad just like Sydney, Melbourne, and the AFLW on. Like I was just so like I hyper fixated on AFL to the point where I reckon I could outtalk most people on information on a certain period probably. And what I found was there were funny adjacent comedy things out there, but I was like, I think there's a voice that I can have here that is, I felt like there was a certain rhetoric or a certain way that football media was moving and talking where I was like, I want something a bit different and maybe I can make that and maybe a few people would come along with that. And in our first year, I was found resoundingly that there was so many people wanted what we were doing and were really receptive to it. And the energy from our audience fueled me to want to keep doing it and to build it. So we started with one. And then I was like, we're getting a lot of stuff wrong. That's what I learned. I thought I knew a lot of stuff, but people kept correcting how wrong we were. And that was kind of the charm of it. But then I saw Marnie making content about football and I saw her articles for The Age at the time. And I was like, I'd love to bring Marnie in. And so I brought Marnie in and she brought this whole other wonderful energy to it. And then I was like, but I want to interview people as well. So then I added this. I just kept building and building, and the audience was so receptive and warm to it, to the point now where like after 3 seasons, we've got like 250,000 people tuning in every month in one way or another, and we've got 4 shows a week, and we've got so much content. We've brought in staff, and it's to the point where this year it took 3 years, and I'm sure this is sometimes I look at you and I think I know how you feel. Because I'm working 3 full-time jobs this year because I'm a driven dude, but I also don't know when to stop. So Aunty Donna this year is doing a world tour. Running the company is also a part of that. So we have our own production company that is a whole element of that. I did my own solo show, which toured everywhere. And then I did 4 episodes of the Footy a week. And it was so I have, as I sit here, I'm like, I haven't had a day off properly in like 11 months or something like that. But yeah, it's really nice because I feel great accomplishment, and an aside to that is that in Melbourne, it is unlike anywhere else in the world because of this obsession with one thing called football. When we tour other places, Sydney or Adelaide or America or whatever, we get recognised for doing comedy. In Melbourne, as soon as I started doing this show, 9 times out of 10, I'm only stopped for football. And the
comparativeness of like, on a world scale, how big Aunty Donna is versus, like they're both huge, but isn't that funny how what would you say, 1 in 10, 2 in 8?
I would say 90% of the people who come up to me want to talk about football
Footy.
And have like it's this city is unlike anywhere else. Yeah. It fuels everything, and as soon how energy creates energy. People say as soon as I started talking about footy, all these things started to come up, and there's just so many people in this world either obsessed with it or it's part of their. Most advertising seems to run through footy. Most events seem to run through footy. Everyone is secretly obsessed with footy. It's their other passion in the way it was for me. So it's been fascinating to watch, and it's opened up so many cool things in the last 3 years that I've loved to do, making just so many awesome things. But also stepping into meeting all these players and meeting coaches and going in things that you're very familiar with were just really interesting to me.
What's been the biggest surprise, stepping into the world?
Genuinely? Do you want me to be genuinely frank?
We'd hope that, yeah.
Not a lot of personality going on with footy players, if I'm being honest. And there's a heightened level of competitiveness and greed, jealousy and greed and petulance that exists in this that doesn't actually exist in comedy as I know it.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
I'm being very frank, but I think there's so much competitiveness between networks here and getting scoops. And I mean, sport is a competition, so it makes sense that it's competitive. But it's sometimes you'll talk to a football club and there's ego to it, or there's like when it's if in comedy world, most people are open or even faking to be open and nice. But in the AFL world, it's really all very serious, very, very serious. And sometimes it's surprising because as an I feel like an outsider still, but there is this immense sincerity to, hey, you can't just interview this player willy-nilly. He kicked 3 goals on the weekend. Like, he's a big deal. And you're like, what? No, he's not. Like, if that makes sense.
No, it does completely. Like it's funny because you say that now and it's probably gotten 10 times better. Like 4 or 5 years ago, it was even worse. Like you can see now, even the AFL is starting to do collaborations with, players and, you look at the EJ Witten game as well. Like they're starting to get people like that would just never have happened.
It's funny, yeah.
It's opening up a fair bit. But it's still got a long way to go.
I think it all started, a large part of it started with little Jacob Gaynor at GWS. I'm sorry I said little. But the way he started doing socials, I remember he was a complete nut. That was in the first year we were doing our pod. Complete trailblazer, and he didn't treat something that was to that point treated with immense sincerity. He just didn't treat with sincerity and started fun memes, and there was genuine pushback, but there was also huge receptiveness to it as well. But you're right. In the 3 years, you can feel like the fact that Melbourne is now doing funny memes on its socials is for me a huge tell that it's moving that direction.
I love watching the team socials. Like we follow them all here. Melbourne, they need to revamp their socials. That would have probably the worst socials out of most clubs.
I think we as a club fall into a place where we're not sure who we are ever because we don't even know where we train. Like if you were to say, where is Melbourne? You couldn't really say it.
Yeah.
MCG.
Where do you train? Oh, you're at Amy. Yeah, no, you're out at Gosh's, right?
Exactly. Your response there is exactly right.
Yeah.
We're a little bit at Gosh's. We're a little bit at Casey.
The Casey thing, I get it. And there's probably a lot of government money that's going to the club, but like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. From my understanding, it was just some really bad administration in the 70s, and at no point has anyone course corrected. I think we were offered Junction Oval for free once.
That's a great.
And they just went, nah.
Now we'll go to Casey.
We'll go to Casey.
Land package out there.
We do need a rebrand, or we just need consistency for a bunch of years, and that's why I'm running for president.
How do you? Can I go back to that earlier question before, because I find it really interesting. You were saying before about like you've been doing Aunty Donna, and that's obviously one of the things that gave you the platform and you built for a long time, and then you found footy as this like passion project on the side, but being able to make that a part too, where it might not bring in the revenue or the security that other things do, but you find like there's passion in it.
Oh, it's the best.
I've found even on an opposite myself, like footy's my thing that is probably your comedy thing. And I'm trying to work out like, and I'd love to like publicly even just pick your brain on this because it's been, I don't want to get tired of something before the audience does. And I feel like sometimes with Dyl Friends, it's been going for sort of 6-7 years, and I'm like, I just don't know if I can continue doing the same thing. Like I need to reinvent what it is because I've even started doing Footy and Friends and I'm finding a lot more joy in that. But there's other parts where I'm like, I want to do different things. Like how did you, because you probably could have earned way more money just continuing doing the same thing you're doing, Aunty Donna, toured more or done more Netflix shows. But how did you back yourself in or come to that decision of like diversifying what you're doing?
I mean, there's probably 2 thoughts to that. One being part of it is necessity, or you're feeling like what you're doing has an end date.
Yeah.
I know for Aunty Donna, we've been performing together since 2012, so 13 years. And you can feel us all being tired of doing the same thing, and you can feel us needing to rejuvenate and find our new thing. But also doing things like the podcast or doing my solo show have made me feel reinvigorated by Aunty Donna because I've learnt doing these other things that if it did fall apart tomorrow, if Mark died,
which we
knock on wood, we hope he doesn't. Well, if he gets sick, if he gets a cold,
when your time's up, your time's up.
Yeah. But if I would be okay because it's not all of me.
Yeah.
I think you get into a place where you feel trapped or you feel like you can't go anywhere. It's when you think you have to do something that you. But if you look, I think thinking and going and being open with yourself and going, I feel trapped here or I feel unchallenged here. That's the start of the conversation. I think in your head, it's important to just keep having that until you think of
It is.
other things you want to do. You're like, and it doesn't have to be huge. Things don't have to be huge decisions. I don't think they don't have to be. I am stopping Dyl Friends and I'm doing this now. It can just be going. I feel unfulfilled in certain places. How am I going to evolve and change?
Yeah.
There's so many good quotes. I know you're a big on reading quotes and inspiration and things, but there's
mainly
many
watching TikToks, but I get them from pump up TikToks.
Yeah. But like the idea, you've got to constantly be re-evolving and rechanging.
Mate, I found it as more than anything now, like the mental health, physical health in general. There's this funny thing when you're young, you really don't want to be put in a situation of like angst. You just want to be comfortable. And then you get to this stage where you get really comfortable being uncomfortable. And then your uncomfortableness is when you're comfortable. So like when things are going okay and I'm like, I just don't know about this. I'm like, I need to fucking change something. Like I need to get moving.
Are we the same age? Are you 36?
I'm 32.
Fuck. That sucks. You feel 36.
I feel 36.
You look 36.
I feel it.
But do you have sometimes I'm an anxious person and I've found comfort in having something to do.
Yeah.
Because if I sit still.
Just be busy.
If I sit still, I get anxious, then I get depressed. Because I'm like, oh no, something's wrong. And your body's just not, on a physical level, not prepared for that. Like I had a day off yesterday and I celebrated that day off by going to High Point and picking up some stuff and then going to Doncaster shopping town on the other side of Melbourne and picking up some stuff.
It's a fair trip.
And then going, like I filled the day.
Yeah.
And Annie, my partner, was like, you're on a day. I was like, why do you keep moving? I was like, if you're moving, you can't think.
Yeah. And
I was half joking, but it's true. Like the void of nothing is really scary, and being okay with that is
I always fuck this quote up. One thing I'm better at than loving quotes is fucking him up. But there was this awesome quote that says like the fear of uncertainty is worse than the. No, I fucked it.
I like the vibe of where it was going though.
So you know where it is. What is it again?
Yeah, it's like the.
Oh, there it is. The misery.
Certainty of misery.
Yeah, no, the misery of uncertainty is better than this. Nah, fucking.
The certainty of misery.
Yes.
Is better than
the misery
of uncertainty. Yeah. So if you're uncertain, it's misery. Where you'd rather just be like, I'm getting sacked or I'm dying. Then you don't have to worry about the uncertainty of the situation. So for me, it's been like this year just living in the uncertainty. So it's been like trying to just get comfortable in that.
Yeah.
But that's the scary thing because I'm like, I don't know what's next for me, but I don't want to continue doing the same things.
Yeah.
Because that's like my biggest fear is being that guy that just does the same fucking shit all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's a, yeah.
And then you're scared. You go like, oh, do I still have it? Am I like, what is it?
So I made my first solo show this year and put it on. And it was in my head, the idea of doing a show on stage by myself was a literal impossibility. Like it would never happen. And over just years of thinking about it, I gradually moved, if I did it, what would it look like? And then it became, well, when would I do it? And then it's like, when will I book the date? And then it very slowly became, I'm doing this to the point where like by March this year when I was doing Melbourne Comedy Festival with it was an inevitability. And I was on stage by myself doing a show, something that in my adult life, in my whole life, I never thought I would do. And I was in the mind frame, of course I can do this and I'll probably do it again at some point and I like doing it. And it was, but that mental block you put up or that idea of, I'll never not be doing this or I'll never be doing something new. Just that slow process of moving towards it makes it happen, I think.
It's funny, isn't it? Like when you fear of those things or like, you could go and start a Aunty Donna or Dyl Friends podcast and you go, yes, I made the leap. It doesn't make the next leap any easier. Like it's still the same leap. It's actually almost harder because you've done one then you've got to like try and do it again.
That's why you shift muscle groups as well when you're training, right? It's why you change your training up, because your body gets used to the same thing and gets comfortable, and then it gets complacent, and then you need to change it up and move it again. You need to hit shoulders from another angle, bro.
I like that. That's how I'm going to start looking at it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, Aunty Donna, to go forward.
Yeah.
That's how I like to sort of work it out. I love that you guys, so you all met at uni.
Yeah.
And then Tom was from high school.
Yeah, so I sat next to Tom, who I do my footy pod with.
Yep.
Who's dropped 25 kilos.
He's looking amazing.
He's trimming down.
I think, to be honest, could be the funniest out of everyone you have in that business. But
He's like, I described him to my partner Annie as my work husband the other day. I've spent every day with him, and it's
because you're like, what, 45? So you would have known him for what, like
pretty
50
much
years or something?
I moved from Adelaide to Melbourne. I'll just fucking let you go on that. I moved to Melbourne from Adelaide in year 7, and I had no friends. I
one of those kids.
Went to Viewbank College.
I wedgied the fuck out of you.
Yeah. And I sat down in homeroom of year 7, 7G, and I sat next to one boy called Tom. And we didn't really, I wasn't like, he's my best friend, I was just some boy.
Yeah.
But the universe just kept pushing us together. Like we just kept being put in classes together. And then when we did the musical, we were like 4 boys out of a cast of 60. We just kept being together. And then when I was like, I'm going to be an actor from when I was 15 years old, I am an actor. And I like put my whole mentality to none of this maths bullshit, none of this science, drama. And he was like, oh yeah, I kind of like it, but he liked music more. And he just auditioned for the same uni as me, just because I think his friends were doing it.
What college was that?
University of Ballarat Arts Academy.
Yes.
So drama school, but it's now called Fed Uni. And he just got in on like a backup letter. So like I got an A letter because I prepared and learned Shakespeare monologues and got real sick. And he kind of just came in and learned to monologue a little bit. But when there was like backup spots, and he got in on a backup spot. And so he just came and moved to Ballarat and went through uni for 3 years and never handed in any work. Like no essay, he never handed in anything. And this says something about the uni. They never told him to leave. But he never got a degree, but he did the whole course. And like every year,
So
they
just
were like,
kept rocking up.
and at the end of the year, you'd have these meetings where they're like, what do you want to do this? Or next year, I want you to bring this. And, you know, because it's all exploring who you are as a human. And every year they go, leave, you don't want to be here. And you go, and then come back. And he just sort of spent the whole time working on music in his spare time because he was passionate about that. And then when we finished, he's just still stuck around. He's like, I'll do the music for you. And he's just always been there. And now I own a business with him and see him every day. But he's now like, yeah, he's a huge part of Aunty Donna. Like, it's just happened without either of us really making an effort to do you have that with people who just seem to always be in your life?
Not as good as that.
We'd be celebrating like 20. I've known him more like 2/3 of my life. Yeah, since 2002, just after 9/11.
Well, is he in Aunty? Is he a part of Aunty Donna, or haven't you done well? Or how does it work, the business structure, if you don't mind asking?
This is interesting.
Yeah, I love how, because you got so much stuff going on. You got, haven't you done well? Is that the banner company?
Yeah.
Or then you got, Grouse House, Aunty Donna, the Footy.
So when we finished uni, we were like, Oh, there was a bunch of boys, and we're like, no one is putting us in TV shows.
I want to go back to this, by the way, because I want to.
Yeah. And we're like,
Did you all meet in like a skit or something?
We were like, I was in a class with Zach, who's in my group, and Tom was in my group, and a guy called Sam. And Zach and I were always like, we weren't close friends, but we were friends. Yeah. But we both had mutual admiration for our performing skills. Like he was so weird and cerebral, and I was very straightforward an actor. Yeah. But and Sam, who was he was not a great actor, if I'm being honest, but all he wanted to do was be a writer. Yeah. And so when we all finished and no one wanted to hire us, we were like, help. And so we had this training of like theatre, like build a theatre company. That was the idea. My goal out of drama school was to leave and change the face of Australian theatre. Because theatre, as you know, is is dying. And When's the last time you went to the theatre?
I must admit I do like going to the theatre, but in saying that, I've been like 3 times in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Jersey Boys, twice of them. So it doesn't really count.
Shit, yeah. So we all finished.
It's also Muriel's wedding as well.
Yeah, right. Oh, so yeah. No,
I haven't even seen like the really big ones.
they're pretty big. I saw a show last night called The Play That Goes Wrong at the Athenaeum. It's the funniest play I've ever seen. My friend Joe's in it. It's so go and see it. Take your partner out. Go on a date.
All right, done.
It's genuinely really good. So we walked out and went, no one's coming to see our shit plays that we're putting on. No one's putting us in TV shows. But in Melbourne, there's this comedy festival. Let's put on a show for that, and because we like comedy. But I kind of saw Zach and I went, let's do this. And we all kind of went, yeah, well, Sam wants to write comedy. And there was one boy in the level below us who was just so brilliant called Mark. And we asked him to be in it. And then my best mate, Adrian, was also a really great performer and he wanted to be a part of it. So we had this mentality of let's all come together and collaboratively make something really cool and use this 3 years of theatre training to trick people into thinking that we're good comedy writers was the kind of mentality. But it also had this thinking of like, sometimes with self-producing TV and comedy when you're growing up, you feel the need to do all the things that you're not good at. So, you know, there might be people like, I'm going to start making comedy, but I need to learn how to edit. Or I want to learn how to make the sketches or I want to do the poster or I want to make the music. And what we kind of had a mentality of is we're only going to get people who are passionate about one of these things and bring them in. So I went to school with a guy called Max who went to film school while we went to drama school and he wanted to be a big filmmaker. And I said to him, do you want to be part of this and make all of our comedy sketches? And so instead of us trying to figure out how to use a camera, we had a guy whose passion was that and learning the craft of how do you shoot comedically, So all of our sketches always had this really premium element to it that other groups didn't. Tom was really passionate about producing music. And so we're like, can you make all of our music? So when we got on stage, we weren't just putting on, you know, royalty-free music. We had elite premium, our own stuff. And all of us just cared really passionately. I was so passionate about performing and, you know, being good on stage. So instead of just going, well, there's 3 faces in it, so it's ours and we hire you in, we went, this is the 6 of us who have collectively, we own this as a group. So for the first 6-7 years, my income from Aunty Donna was maybe $8 because you can't split most of the money we made 6 ways into anything meaningful. And we all kind of bought in and said, this is going to be our life for a long time until we can break through. We all just really bought in and believed in it and just said, if this means that 4 days a week we're working a crappy job and 3 days we don't have off, we're spending full-time writing Aunty Donna, that's our life now. So yeah, for a long time we were cinema jobs, call centers, whatever, and didn't have a day off. And very slowly just started to build this thing and got turned down and passed on hundreds and countless times, but just kind of kept moving in the same direction and went, something's going to crack through for us. And just by being around and always having a really we cracked through at points and got to the point where it was our career and our job. And yeah, we're at a point now where we're a board of 7 now because we brought in a managing director as well who runs everything, quite a substantial staff and team. And
how many employees would you have?
150. No. Yeah, we're bigger than Coles now and Qantas. No, we have about 10 to 12, a team of editors and producers of shows. We're building our own little streaming platform. So when we were coming through, comedy in Australia was kind of hitting this weird point where when we were kids, people used to watch shows on TV, but just as we started to come through, there was a reticence to see any new voices come through, and when they did come through, the shows weren't very good. It was too risky. The budgets were reducing. It was harder to get comedy shows on TV. So this rhetoric was out there that Australian comedy was dying and our voice was dying because when we were growing up, there were shows like Kath and Kim and Summer Heights High and Skit House and Sean McAuliffe and all these shows. And it's a big part of Australian identity. But as we came through, we made a pilot for the ABC that they passed on and said it was no good. We made a pilot for Stan that they passed on and said it was no good, which it wasn't. It was bad. And we just but we also, more importantly than us, we saw all these really good comedians because we were in the scene coming through and either disappearing because they just ran out of energy and support, or they left the country. So Ronnie Cheng couldn't get a TV show up here and had to leave, and is never heard of again, apart from hosting the Daily Show. People like Sam Campbell we saw for a decade making brilliant comedy but never getting the chance to be on TV, or Aaron Chen, people like that. And we kind of thought, if there's a way we can build this platform where we're funding and creating a place for Australian comedy that can exist, that would be sick. So that's what we're investing all our time and energy in.
So that's Grouse House?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's our team. Is we have Donna, we have Haven't You Done Well, which tries to produce TV shows and films and things like that. And then Grouse House is our new project as well, which we're trying to get to a place where the goal is for it to be a bit like a platform that's in the US called Dropout TV, which is a subscription platform where it just makes a year of original content. So Grouse House Originals would be the goal, and we're starting to make stuff now. But the goal is like get comedians who've had shows on TV or who haven't had shows on TV. They usually get network executive destroyed before it gets to people. So we just want to give people the chance to make their weird show and see if people like it. So that's the long and short of it is that's the thing we do.
It's amazing, man. No, it's actually like incredible business, and I think like for what I suppose we're trying to create is in the footy world, I suppose is a little bit similar in the sense like giving voices to the different people that wouldn't necessarily play 300 games or win 3 flags and be able to get on Channel 7 and boundary ride. And you've done it yourself. Like, I think that's what's so good about what's happening in, I suppose, digital media, podcasting. It just gives that other perspective that you could never get on traditional media.
Let me really open with you and ask you some genuine. What do you think people actually now, like what does an audience of football actually want? Because my learnings from 3 years of doing this is much less than you. People aren't, I don't know how interested people are actually from hearing from a footballer on their career. Like I don't know how, but at the same time, if I had Dacos on, the numbers would be bigger than anything else.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're saying. They bring. It's sort of like the philosophy I've always had with Dyl Friends and Footy and Friends is like they come for Nathan Buckley, but they stay for like the community that you build. But in terms of like what does a footy fan want, I think it's very hard to put them in all of them in the same boat. But
that's true.
I think like you're rusted on footy nuffies that. And I use nuffies as a nice term. Like I think it's be proud of them.
No,
be proud
I
to be
am
a nuffie.
Proud nuffie.
But like you got your fireball, you've got your first crack, like those things where people want to just get involved and comment on. And then there's your traditional media with like Fox and all that sort of stuff, which is just there to continue. Like, and I think I don't want to bash on that stuff because I actually think there is such a place for that. Like when I do watch the games, I really love listening to like BT and James Brayshaw. Like we were doing streaming here for a bit and I'm like, fuck, I don't think I would listen to this personally. I'd actually probably just rather listen to BT and Brayshaw. Like that's what I want to do when I'm in that mode. So it's like flipping in your range and going where you are. Then there's the other part that they just want to be a part of like a pub chat they are with their mates and feel like they're connected to a community that sees footy like they do. Like I love talking about fucking the dumbest shit, like player numbers, like, trades, like all that sort of weird stuff that just doesn't get spoken about.
It's a pathway to connection, really, isn't it? Like,
it is.
It's funny. I've done a bunch of mates chats this year, and I love doing them all, where it's just talking to different people. And I've done one with you before.
Yes,
and it's interesting the ones that get reception from people. Like the ones I think people are going to be blown away by. Firstly, every time the more I've gone into the footy world, the easier it's been for me to get names. And like I had Laura Kane on, as you've had on before. I think you know Laura Kane.
I know Laura, yes,
but I was like, this is huge. Like the 2IC of the AFL is coming on this show. And I was like, this is a moment of, vindication or like this is legitimacy. No one cared. And like, but if this week I talked to Marnie, who is on every week, and I talked more in depth about Marnie and her career, and people were just so more engaged and interested with that. Or I talked to Tom. I had Tom on as a guest to talk about his life, and people were more like, or Mark or Zach, like, I think it's fun.
It's hard to get them to listen. It's almost like the more downloads something get, it's like the less people actually want to comment on it versus the ones that people come for, and it's like a more intimate, less
Yeah.
listened show. People just go nuts for.
And I think there's a grey area between what someone genuinely enjoy. Do people want to enjoy what they're listening to? Is an interesting question. Are they coming for nourishment, or are they coming to feel something? Because you could argue no one's more successful than Kane, and all he does is divide and create problems. Whereas people, the thing that fuels engagement and fuels comments and fuels the algorithm is actually
Not positive stuff.
not positive. But people deep down maybe want that. And there's points with me, like if I hear bloody Caroline say something about Melbourne, or like that, it brings me to life a little bit. It makes you feel something. But imagine if you watched Agenda Setters and it was just like, how great is footy? The smell of the grass, the glory.
It's not interesting, is it?
The great champion, the thing about, like, imagine if it was, no one would actually want that. Despite that's probably the most nourishing thing for you, is to look at it as a piece of art and go, football's beautiful. It's my father watched it. I went to it with my mum. It's my daughter sitting with me. No one wants that.
No.
But they want to get a bit angry about it or feel something at 9 o'clock at night on a Monday on Channel 7.
Have you worked out what the answer is to that?
No, the answer for me, and for like, because I've upped and down, there's been moments where I was like, I'm afraid to leave the house today because I said that about Collingwood.
Yeah.
Like, and then there's been other points where I'm like, I want to take this really. I've often feel the tide pulling me out to take it too sincerely, to take it really seriously. And so I have a mantra that I say before every podcast: this is fun, this is silly, this is not important. I mean, it's a pathway to important conversations at points. Like, the things that happen in football are a microcosm of what's happening in society. So you can use that as a pathway to say, I feel this way about this thing. But it's, at the same time, it's people's break. It's people's,
escapism, yeah.
I hate my job, or I'm really tired with my job. I'm supporting my family. I just want this one thing that has very little to do with my life, but I can get joy out of it. If Melbourne beat Richmond this weekend by 900 points and we win the flag, Melbourne wins the flag, that's great for my personality, but it makes me feel good, but I don't have to worry about it either, or I can worry about it to the degree that I'm not, that I want.
You spoke about your pod with mates, and you've got like the interview chats you have on. Has there been a common thread throughout the show that you didn't think would be, but it's just something that comes up in every episode?
Well, I always ask, do you still like football, or what do you like about football? And that could be my favorite thing about my whole show, is hearing that. I've had just hearing Jared Waitley or member of King Gizzard or whoever just say from all around, I love this thing, and just this collective adding to the heap of the thing they love about the sport is really, really nice.
What's been like the most interesting answers? Like what sort of surprised you about some people?
How eloquent everyone is when they get to the point about it. But the main thing is, it's like there's this one thing on this giant earth, there's this one thing that a large proportion of the community have a really spiritual, emotional connection to, and it connects people, and it's a pathway to connecting with people. And that's what I've learned from it, is I never met Jared Waitley before. I admired him from far, but I could sit down and talk about football with him and have a real connection with him. It started friendships for me, and it's like that's what it's. I'd love to just sit down and compile the responses from everyone, because it just makes you go, that's why I watch this. That's why I love this.
That'd be a good coffee table book.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah, fucking hell. A colouring in book as well. Make
do that.
Colouring in coffee table. We colour in Jared Waitley.
With one thing I didn't realise, and I wasn't anywhere near the players that I've interviewed or seen, but I was actually at this function this morning. Zach Merritt was there, very timely.
He was there?
He came. And I was just chatting with him on this panel, and it's obviously been a big period for him. And he was good about it. He's just like, it's been pretty hectic, and obviously a lot of that will come out.
I'll say.
Yeah. And what it did make me realise, though, is when you're a player, I don't think I've ever seen how much impact AFL players have when they're on a list of like walking past a kid or someone that supports them. Like, I'm telling you now, not even anyone, anything, I can't even think of anything, like a radio star or a podcaster or whatever is walking past someone. Nothing actually has the impact like an AFL player does in this state.
No. It's
amazing.
Particularly for young kids.
Yeah.
And like, even for me at 36, whenever I see Gorney, it's the most,
up and about.
it freaks me out,
Yeah.
man. He's the most magical man. And I love him so much. I love that man so much. I saw Sir Doug Nicholls round. I was in the tunnels for Melbourne, and there was a group of
Allowed? Or you
No, I just found a way. I know a way. There's a door. There's a door I know. No, actually, Kevin Krapinuri, who's a stand-up comedian and mate of mine, I've known him for a while. One day he just put up on Instagram, my son got drafted to the footy. And it was Cozzy Pickett.
What?
And I was like, what? Well, he's playing for Melbourne. And then I watched, as over the years, my mate Kevin's son has become one of, the next Cyril Rioli of the AFL. And so he designed the Dreamtime, the Sir Doug Nicholls design for Melbourne this year. So he went to the president's function. He said, my other son can't come as a guest. Can you be my other son? So I was Kevin's son, and I was sitting at a table with Byron Pickett and Aaron Davey.
So your brother's with
Matthew Willen. Yeah. So I was like, you've said that now, and I'm taking that with me for the rest of my life. So then I was down in the change rooms with them. But there was also a young First Nations group who'd come down and were waving the flags and being a part of it that week. And I saw all the players coming down after their warm-up, and when Cozzy came down, it was one of the most magical things, how I saw just this young guy with a young family, just how important and how profound an impact he has on Australia just by being a gun footballer. It's profound. It is profound. And it's funny how it must be insane getting pushed out the other side of that as soon as you're not contractually obliged to wear the polo anymore, how that must feel. I play in a basketball team with an ex-football player, and they're just part of the community now. But they've been through this really unique thing that only a very small proportion of society gets to do.
Yeah, it's incredibly strange because even you look at past players that are superstars and they just don't have, like, there's still obviously an aura, but it's not the same as being when you're like in the system. Yeah. Really crazy.
I did a video for the MCG at the start of this year, and I spent about 2 hours without a hat on the MCG, and it was hot. It was really hot. Yeah. No, I put a lot of cream on the old dome. But it was being out on the ground there is it's great.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah,
it is. Did you go to the game where I actually kicked 3 against Melbourne?
Are you doing this now? Are you doing this?
Do you remember? Did you watch that one?
Giants, you Giants, yeah? Or Carlton?
Carlton.
No, I don't. What year?
Oh.
Let's see if I can get some.
It must have been like 2016.
Yeah. So Goodwin was coaching? He must have been.
Yeah, he
was.
was.
His first
year. It was the year. You know what it was? It was the year where Melbourne, like, it was their first like crack at. I think they had to beat us in the last game to make finals,
and we did.
But then the year after, you started really kicking on.
I think 7. I think
so. You can thank me for that premiership. Really. Do you count that one as a Melbourne supporter?
The prelim in 2018.
No, the grand final in Perth. Is there an asterisk on it, or do you count it?
So this is what got me in trouble on SEN because I got asked this on SEN. And
so you do count it, do you?
It's what I said on SEN is the truth, which is
that's interesting.
It's worth more than any Collingwood flag, and it's worth more than any of the apart from the Richmond 2020. Like, it's worth more. Collingwood got on a plane once, and it was in like 2004. They don't know where the airport is.
Were the other teams trying as hard that year?
Harder. It's. I know what you're doing. And it is hurting.
You're a real prick, you know.
Yeah. Are you a Melbourne fan?
A big one.
Yeah. It's like it's clearly worth more.
I actually don't know if it is.
You actually don't know?
No, I'm not. I'm like, if I won that one, I'd be.
Why?
There's an asterisk there.
Because I've
don't
had
even-
this argument in my head many times, and I won it.
I was chatting to Cochin this morning. He was actually at the thing too, and he sort of says in his mind, "Yeah, we won 2, like 2.5."
Why? It's not like you played Brisbane. It's not like you played against the VFL side. All the circumstances were the same for every team, Dylan. Everyone had to go through as many challenges as... It's not like the Bulldogs had to wear one shoe. Everyone went through the same thing, you dog. What I will say, though, as a Melbourne fan, is I can't see us winning one at the MCG ever.
Like, you have to wait for COVID to come back.
No, like that mental roadblock is just so there.
It was sort of funny. We were chatting about it, and it's not funny for Melbourne supporters. But if there's a team that wants to win a flag at the MCG, you'd think it's Melbourne. And then to win one with an asterisk.
It's not an asterisk, you dog. But no, I said on SC, I was like, I think it's hard, like Collingwood or Richmond or Hawthorn not having to leave is a huge bias. And for Melbourne, even if Melbourne's up there, an immense bias.
Yeah, it is.
Brisbane have been on a plane every day. When they come down tomorrow, or they'll be down today,
they're here.
It sucks. As someone who's just been on tour for 3 weeks on a plane every second day, it kills you. And you should show more respect.
I'll try. What's your thoughts on Melbourne this year? Like, there's a bit going. I had some actually hot fire questions for you. Okay,
Yeah.
If you could keep either Petrarca or Oliver, who are you keeping?
It's a great question. Probably Oliver.
Wow.
I think Petrarca's been through a very tough 18 months, so I don't want to be too harsh on him, but I think losing Neil Bullen was very damaging to him because from all reports...
Neil Bullen's he's the Kane Lambert of
in that he was on the Footy Show's Australian Idol thing. Do you remember that?
He won't.
Oh, that was Pettifer. Sorry, that was Kane Pettifer.
Kane Lambert, like he's a role player. Like he'd pick up Dusty's man and,
From all reports, Petrarca was enabled by AMB just covering his defensive running and opened up so many things. And you saw this year there was some damning footage of defensive running the other way.
Neil Bullen as well,
It got so much better this year.
mate. I was going, he's sort of won an asterisk premiership. He's going over there to sort of retire. He's gone over there to settle down back in Adelaide. I have so much respect for him. He's a very good footballer and just an absolute workhorse. He's one of those people you just want in your team.
I remember thinking because he
used to get dropped all the time.
He does some dud things occasionally, like when we were going to beat Brisbane in 2024, just sort of walked over the boundary and gave them a kick for goal inside the defensive 50 and we lost.
It's good to know you don't forget this.
I will never forget Neil Bullen. He does some dud things.
Yeah.
But Stanislavski was the acting teacher who invented method acting in Russia in the early 1900s. And the thing about Stanislavski is he was a bad actor and he taught himself a process to become a good actor. So Chris Judd doesn't know how to, maybe he does. Chris Judd can't tell you how to be Chris Judd.
Yep.
Gaz can't tell you how to be Gary Ablett Jr. But someone going, hang on, how can I be someone who was a 5 out of 10 player? How did I get to 7 or 8?
Yes.
Is more so I think Neil Bullen
he's got the most out of himself.
He should be a head coach at some point.
Yeah. This has frustrated me always with coaches, and I think Nathan Buckley's even sort of spoken about this. We talked about it on the podcast, paraphrasing, but around when you're a gun player, it's very hard to relate to the other players because you don't understand why someone can't be motivated or why their form is in slump. Like how hard it is to go from VFL to AFL, how hard it is to, walk around when the coach doesn't want to look you in the eye.
Yeah.
That's why Josh Fraser, had him on the podcast too.
Number 1 draft pick, Josh Fraser.
Josh Fraser, number 1 draft pick. Had played at Collingwood, biggest club in the AFL, went to Gold Coast when they first started up, went back and coached VFL, Northern Blues, tried to get Preston back off the ground. Like he's had such a good, I suppose, variety of different roles to understand what it's like for different players. And when looking at a coach, I always admire those things in people to be like, what's their range like here? Because
Yeah, it's there's so many different. I taught a little bit through COVID. I taught comedy and acting a little bit, and I directed musicals as well in my early days. And it's like looking at some kid and going, "How do I help you? Like, which way do I go here? And knowing that sometimes you have to yell at a kid, and sometimes you have to nurture the kid, and sometimes you have to let them. Sometimes you go, "I can't. You just need to figure this out yourself." It's horrifying and scary because you can't literally pick them up and make them do the thing. But the other thing I was going to say about Josh Frey, one time I was flying to LA and he was in business. He was in economy with me. And but in the middle of the night, it's the worst flight ever. It's like 15 hours. And in the middle of the night, he was just this gigantic man was standing in the like aisle with a laptop open with another Collingwood coach, just like looking at footage, like 11 hours into a flight. And I was like, sit the fuck down and watch Conclave or something like everyone else. Sit down, Josh Fraser.
Did you? I did see some girl calling out AFL teams for sitting in, and like it's so true.
That was
like
Eloise Eftos, who's a great comedian.
It's actually so true. Like I remember being on flights and coaches are like looking up vision and showing people. I'm like, mate, wait till we fucking get back to the club.
Yeah.
Like it's literally an hour flight. We don't need to be doing this right now.
I remember that's
Get like secondhand embarrassment from it.
I could talk about sport teams on Virgin flights around this country. The year that Doggies won the flag, 2016, when they went to Perth from memory, they went over and played one of the games.
Yeah, West Coast, beat West Coast.
We were on the plane over there with them.
Yeah.
And I just remember them all walking around and being real locked in, and it's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
One time I was on a plane next to Des Hasler, from the ex-Gold Coast Titans coach, and he just was like asleep, hunched over. Like it's just fascinating. So much time is spent in these little tubes to be a sport person. How many times I've been on a plane with a super netball team, and like I'm like, these guys are going to win it. This is the winning team here.
Stephen May.
Yeah, my favourite player.
Are you upset by this?
No.
Yeah.
There was some footage I saw that really
The Gorn one?
annoyed me. The telling Gorn thing off was frustrating, but I think that was heightened because of
It's in the moment.
whatever. There was some footage at the end of the year that Demons kind of naively released, I reckon, which was after the last
game.
After. So there was fun fact, we lost to Collingwood twice this year by
I remember that
cumulative
actually,
4 points or something.
Do you reckon you should get the Queen's birthday game next year?
What is this? Yes. But maybe not. Maybe just get us off Broadway. Like Melbourne fans will tell we don't want to be seen. Yeah. Like let us just go play Monday nights or something at. Well, I want our own little stadium somewhere else. You only
Casey.
You only hear
just
about the results
Casey
over the wireless. You know, Melbourne won this afternoon. So what were we talking about? So we lost to Collingwood in that last game by it was like 5 points or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was under a goal, I think.
Yeah, but how did it happen? Something weird happened. There was some sort of disaster. Anyway, afterwards, and this would have made Collingwood finish 8th. Like it would have been the best day ever. Gorney's sitting up the back and it's like the end of the year and he's saying, we need to learn from this. We've got to stop. Like he's saying this is the end of the year. We can't keep doing this. Let's grow together. Like this speech. And you're like, And you watch it again and May's down the front, out of focus, talking and like making jokes with like another player. And as soon as I'm like, get him out. Get him out. Like you just, he might just be a different learner and a different.
He's different. I know Maisie well. He's a great guy. He's a fierce competitor. Like amazing competitor. I think he'll be if he goes to another club and they sort that out.
I accidentally hit my lever.
Just his lever. Just
talking about May and lever.
If he gets to another club, I think it'll be the best for him as well.
I can't believe the Dogs don't want him. I think he would walk into the Dogs and just if they're making a play next year, I know they're going after Wilkie, so they're all in on Wilkie.
Yeah,
but
the Wilkie thing's big. Do you love trade? Do you love like play movement?
So my favorite thing,
I fucking love it.
I think trade radio is the best thing ever.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
It's a vest.
In the year that my Netflix show came out, we were still in the COVID thing. And so we were supposed to go to LA and do this whole launch, but we were just stuck in our houses. And we were doing so much press, like weeks and weeks of press. And I was just sitting there on the day it was coming out at 7:00 on this day, and it was halfway through trade period. And my brother goes, you should ring Trade Radio and promote the show, this global release of
Who was on?
It was Purple, Damien Barrett, the gentleman who has since passed, the old recruiter from Adelaide, I forget his name. There's footage on my Instagram of if you go back, and then I think still Varney.
Oh god.
and they're like, we've got Broden on here, purple. We've got Broden here. What's he got to say? And I'm like, yeah, g'day boys, how's it going? And they go, yeah, good, Broden. I'm like, that's the way. That's my favorite. That's the way is my favorite thing. And then I'm like, do you think Ben Brown, do we need to package up some second rounders to get him over the line? And tonight, will you be watching Aunty Donna's Big Old House of Fun debuting on Netflix at 7 p.m? And I'm like, so just those two things. And then Barrett's like, not sure about that last one. I think Ben Brown gets there. I think it just like brushes that shit off and just straight through. I think he gets there. I think that deal's done. I think. But then I put that out as the most like, yeah, it was the probably the micro dose of me eventually just going into this world of football stuff because it is so sincere and very easy to lampoon. But I love trade radio.
Who would you go for this year if you're Melbourne? Give me like your top 2, 3.
I love Brody Myercheck.
Yeah.
So
that's
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's where Melbourne's at now is that's our big coup. But he comes to Donna shows.
But he's old.
He's 34. But I like him. He's a big basher and crasher. Big dirty Tasmanian bloke.
Isn't that what your young forward is meant to be as well, Van Roy?
JVR, yeah. That's my hope is that a big Myercheck will give him a bit of a runway.
It's just good to be able to get someone bigger to take that first like key back, then they get the second.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
2 questions. Do you just tank if you're Carlton? Do you give up Curnow? Like, do you just go, yep, that's what he wants, he's out? And the second one is, why can't your other team win a final?
Oh, yeah, I know. It's just crazy. So, first question with Carlton, I'm really big on, this is probably a long-winded answer, but I was having a chat with actually Kate McCarthy today, who I reckon is
buy stocks in Kate Mac.
She's like
all the stocks
best
in Kate
analyst like ever. The shit she says is like, it's like word for word out of a footy meeting of like what you talk about.
I'm pretty open with this. My show on Monday is just me watching the round so far and you just going, Kate said this.
Yeah.
Kate said this.
Yeah, I basically do that as well. Yeah. Yeah. Basically just like, you could just watch get round so far.
Yeah, freak.
And we're talking about trade stuff. We drove down the Mornington Peninsula for this thing with Zach Merritt. This story's come up a lot today. We were coming back. And so we had like 2 hours in the car together and I'm just peppering about like trade stuff because that's all I care about.
With Zach Merritt?
No, like, so I had a little thing this morning. It was a cashy. We went and did a thing with me, Kate, Cochin and Zach Merritt.
Okay.
So we're all there. Merritt. No. We're all there. This has nothing to do with my point, by the way. But the main point being, we were talking about trade stuff the whole way. And I think we need to get to the point with trade and equalisation of the competition that if a player, say for example, it's Zach Merritt at the moment, if he says he wants to go for trade, it's on him and his management to ensure that Hawthorn are going to get that trade done. And if they can't, he should have to be able to be traded anywhere.
They've lost. They're going to lose autonomy very soon.
They have to because
you can't.
That's how the comp. Because then North go. That's how North and West Coast would actually get better because they'll go, all right, we will pay what we need to do, and they'll get to those clubs.
Yeah, otherwise, it's going to be a relegating 2 tiers.
And that's how clubs are going to actually work it out. And then there's not these standoffs. So the first question was around Charlie Curnow. Should they get rid of him? Yeah, they should, but they should get back something that's valuable as well.
Go. So my thing, if I was Essendon and as a petulant manager of a club, I would go anywhere but Hawthorn.
Yeah.
Go and talk to anyone but Hawthorn. But so
mine's Geelong, man. Like I love Geelong, but it looks like he'll end up there, probably.
Is Merritt now?
No, so I'm talking about Charlie Curnow.
Oh, Curnow, right.
Curnow, Geelong or Gold Coast, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And what I'd be asking back if I was Carlton, for Gold Coast, it'd be like Jed Walter and I know you guys are into Flanders as well.
Yeah, Flanders.
Flanders and that. And then if it was Geelong, I'd be going for like a Sam de Koning. Potentially, I don't really know many of their young players.
That's their trick. They hide them out the back of bloody.
Yeah, they do.
But it's the long contract moves.
It should have to be matched.
It benefits the stars and it punishes. It's going to punish the small, like the less good players, the non-stars. So like when Merritt does this, it's moving it towards more no more player autonomy about where you play.
Yeah.
And that's going to affect the 30th person on a list. So not only are they affecting their club and the fan base, it's moving this way because they've just got way too much power.
Yeah. But you like unless they can get the deal done with it, they should just go wherever.
Yeah, 100%. Because
they're getting paid enough. I don't understand. Like Australia's it's a big place, but it's like if you want to play AFL, you should be able to move to the west coast of Australia.
Yeah.
Like you'll be okay.
Or you can't move from a contract. Don't
move.
Yeah. Because don't sign a long contract. Bontempelli doesn't sign long contracts.
Yeah. But that's the way I see equalisation actually working because at the moment, clubs are only players are only trading to better clubs.
Yeah.
So if you can't get the deal done, bang, North Melbourne pick it up, Richmond could pick someone up, West Coast could pick someone up, and it's up to them to run the dice.
The club gets better
picks.
Yeah, better picks. Yeah, it makes complete sense to me. But it's like player agents will just do this until they can get away with it. That's just the way the world works is they probably know it's a bad thing to do to commit to somewhere for 9 years.
So why wouldn't you take the security? If Netflix said to you, like, we're going to do this, and then you can say, no, I'll trade the
and we'll get away with it.
Yeah.
So it's the player agent's fault, but they're only doing it because they can get away with it.
Yeah.
So you need to tell them that they can't get away with it.
There's definitely too much power, with the players at the moment in that sense.
I kind of want to see him at the Suns because
Zach Merritt.
We're
jumping around. Yeah.
Merritt, yeah. Because
no, 100%. It'd be sick.
Suns are going to win. And this is my
Tommy likes the Suns too, doesn't he?
He's a big Suns boy. They're going to win like 5 from 10, I reckon. I think Hardwick's going to end up with how many, like 8 flags or something because but the chat about Suns is always they throw away their picks. And then it's also they get too many picks. Is that they're just working on a different level with the stock. Like they've got 3 more coming in this year, 3 more top 20 picks. And I believe they're just going to use them on academy players because they've just
They don't even need to go to the draft. Yeah.
I mean, at some point they'll have to stop this. But like Jed Walter would be a number 1 draft pick of the level of, any other draft. But he's just going through this. They're all, it happens every year. And just Rao might leave or Bailey Humphrey might leave, but it's all moving towards
one place.
They're going to be unstoppable.
I think list management is the 2 things that make a good club. And I was chatting to actually a friend that's in the industry in this league. I won't throw him under the bus who it was. But we're chatting about, football clubs and what makes a good football club is good list managers and recruitment and good development. If you have those 2 things, all the coaches are like, they're obviously they're great coaches, but they're not, there's tiny little parts of like what's better and what's not. It's who you're doing it through. Like if you can develop them well and bring in the right people, mate, anyone can coach the fucking best team. Like
Melbourne's the best example of this, right? We've got a great recruiting team, I think. And we just all the peripheral ones.
But you didn't, did you, back in the day?
No,
that was like the key of it.
Like so many good, talented players who just weren't developed. We just had so many picks at the draft and just cooked them one by one. But then I remember Jason Taylor and Jed Lamb. No, was his name Jed? Someone. Anyway, Tim Lamb, Jason Taylor. And that whole team there just started to do really competent development of good players.
It was pretty much around the Petrarca and what draft was that with?
About 16. So Brayshaw. But then they started to just do little calm, simple things and do like trade, 2 back for 1 kind of deals. And when I remember we got Ed Langdon was just a really nice, simple, competent thing to do. But it is, and that's what's been kind of nice to me is going while we're looking for a coach. I actually really do trust the people who are running this side of our thing. I think we very rarely get the draft wrong. We very rarely miss these days. Like where I reckon
you got Langford this year, Windsor, like those. They've been amazing picks. Yeah,
Langford is so good.
Do you reckon he'll go into what number do you think he'll change to then?
Oh, you reckon he'll change?
100. He's 19 at the moment, isn't he?
19's a good number.
Let's pick it now.
Good.
I'm telling you, we'll be able to pick this.
What's available at the Dees?
Well,
we'll just give it a week or 2.
I was going to say, well, if May goes, number 1's there. I don't really.
He would be a good one.
I'm not sure if
he is the one. Like Hogan was 1, wasn't he?
Hogan was 11, wasn't he?
No, James Gorney's 11.
Hogan was 1.
Sorry, it was, yeah.
Hogan was 1. Yeah, and that felt right.
That did feel right.
Take me back.
If we get rid of May, we should get Hogan back because that was the trade. That was the...
That's only fair, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's fair. That
Well,
was another example.
If
of just
Petrarca went 5, you could see him in the 5.
Yeah, he could be a 5.
Spargo, 9. There you go. That's what it was. Spargo's going to go to North and Langford takes a 9. Watch
Do you
this
reckon?
space. WTS, as I like to say.
He'll take the 9.
Yeah.
I don't
'Cause
think we're
19 to 9, drop the 1.
Well, okay, I've got to. This is probably. I don't know if this is what you want on this show, but we're getting in Jeff White's son, Kalani White.
Yeah, but isn't he number 37?
Well, let me tell you something. If 9's free, we've got Kalani, a gigantic boy, and we've got Max Gorn at 11. We make Kalani 9. We make Max 11.
9-11.
The Twin Towers.
Yeah, that's I like.
Here comes 9/11.
And there's your motto going into next year. I like it. It sounds like a Stephen King novel.
Yeah, Stephen King's 9/11. Or maybe he stays at 19 and we just leave it.
Yeah.
Maybe we put him at 37. I don't know. But that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Look, there's something in there, that's for sure. I don't mind that. So
Kalani.
we'll see what happens. But watch this space, number 9, Langford.
But no, I as far as a Dees fan, I felt pretty numb for the last 3 years because I did feel like we were very poorly coached strategically for a large portion of it. And Simon seems like a nice guy, but just the same thing every week, just really burnt. And as soon as he left, I was kind of rejuvenated. I felt like I was in my 20s again watching us get Paul Roos and start to build. Like I felt alive again.
Do you know what my other hot take is?
Please.
We should be able to trade AFL coaches.
Yeah, hell yeah. The
So,
old
like,
Doc Rivers to the Clippers situation.
There was one last year where I was like, it was the most in the period of time. It was like a 6 to 8 week period where I was like, why aren't we doing this? Luke Beveridge at the time was like, he's a great coach, obviously, but sometimes it just wasn't really working. And Adam Simpson was at West Coast and he's a premiership coach. And West Coast went, I'm like, why the fuck why don't we, if they traded places, that would be amazing. Could you imagine?
Could you put in picks and players into that as
No,
well?
I think you've got to just do the coach one.
Who
It's
is a trade you would do now? Like
A
who
coach
would
trade?
mutually benefit each other?
a really good question. Okay, so who's down the bottom of the ladder?
Who's a team in the 8 who could be you think strategically is
Could be better.
lacking a little bit? And you know what I mean?
Yeah, I really like this game.
Who's a team like
I'm looking up the
I would
ladder.
say maybe Freo, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
You could say Freo, kind of lacking in a little bit. Could they get in just for the finals and Alistair Clarkson? But then I think you've got to get some picks back or something, or salary cap space or something like that.
But
or
what-
loan a coach.
Loan a coach.
So you get in Clarkson
I'm
just for the
happy to loan a
finals.
coach. But yeah, I know what you
I
mean.
want loaning in the AFL as well. I want loaning. So
Like, yeah.
first,
Players
I
can
want,
go to different teams.
I
for
want
a
the
bit.
mid-season draft as well. I want people paying overs to get a
I
ruckman
love the
in.
mid-season trade too. They did that for did we do that for 1 year and then didn't do it again? Or did we never do it?
No, we just did. We brought in the drafts, but we never had mid-season trades. But I'm all about that.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't we doing that? But we're going to play like a Vic versus WA game that no player's going to go hard at the footy.
No.
And
I see huge, like if Geelong need a ruckman, they desperately need a ruckman halfway through the year, so they go and pay overs to get, someone from, to go and get the St Kilda one who they're going to get anyway now,
Tom
Marshall.
McConing or Marshall, yeah.
Yeah, like how that was so beneficial.
Yeah.
And they're going to get picks back for that and they're going to just do it. I don't see the problem. I love that.
Hey, mate, you've been very generous with your time. I want to just chat about a couple more things before we do, because
Please.
we've spoken about like the footy,
Yes, we do.
Aunty Donna, everything that's going on in your life. You said before, like, you nearly haven't taken a day off this year. How do you, and I'm genuinely curious about this, but like, how do you try and keep yourself in the best place to perform and still be passionate about what you're doing when you're so busy?
That's something I'm negotiating with myself at the moment, because I think for the first time in my life this year, had proper burnout. Have you had proper burnout before?
Yeah.
Where I've had to learn and do research on this as I've been diagnosed with it. But like this point where like you work so hard at stuff that you get to a point where you just don't have any passion for any of it, and you just can't get I've had that this year. So I'm still wrangling with what to do with that, because I think you probably feel the same as well. As when I wake up in the morning, I've got to go and forage for myself. In my head is a little bit, I've got to find the way to make my career. I don't work for anyone. And that's very empowering, but also very
scary,
debilitating as well at points for that. So that's my 30s, is I've kind of built my life around things that I really like, and I want them to be the best they possibly can be. But how do you manage that against your well-being and stuff? Like, I've got high blood pressure now and shit like that. And so I have to that's my next journey. Well, what do you do? How do you do it?
Mate,
and you've got kids as well.
I was curious to get an answer off you, but I've definitely found myself in that place, 100%. People, I suppose, that hyper focus that you can have on something, and people with hyper focus, you can't choose what you hyper focus on. So sometimes you use it for good things, and then sometimes you use it for bad things. So for me, it's just been genuinely treating myself it's become. Prior to having kids, I was very selfish, right? Around everything's about you. You just everything's about you. And then you have kids and everyone says, oh, you can't be selfish anymore. You have to look after your family.
Yeah.
It's not true. You actually have to be more selfish than you ever have, because if you're not looking after yourself the right way and looking after your physical health, your mental health, making time for yourself to be the best you can be, you're not going to show up for them. And that's where I got to. I was trying to do everything and then just fucking crashed. And then I wasn't there for anyone, work, family, anything.
Yeah.
So, and that's still mate, that's a continuum. It just continues to come. So for me, it's just, honestly, I love chatting with people like yourself and just trying to pick up 1% of something each time.
Yeah.
And you've said some things today where I'm like, fuck, I haven't thought about it like that. That's a really...
Is it the mid-season trade stuff?
No, that was my idea, I think. I'm pretty sure that was my idea. But yeah, surrounding myself with good people, trying to eat and drink water.
Oh, man.
Drinking water is important. Mm-hmm. I know people know that, but it's whenever I'm stressed, I just try and drink a litre of water. Sleep.
Yep.
And general health and physical health, just trying to get in the gym, the woodshed. You felt my arms before.
Yeah, you're jacked. But on your socials, I'm always curious about, because I go to a gym.
I work out at home.
Yeah, you've got this weird shed area, Ivan Milat vibes shed going.
Mate, it's nearly fucked me because it's on a slant too. So each time I squat, I'm basically squatting on a 45-degree angle.
But what's your circuit? Are you just benching? Because that's all you show. You got this old rusty bench.
No, I chin-ups.
Some chin-ups and bench? What are you doing?
My mate, so this is what I did as well, right? When you're time poor, and I don't actually like working out. It's not, I've grown to like it and you feel good about yourself, so you do it. But it's not a passion of mine to go, let's go to the gym and get jacked. I do it for the mental benefits over the physical benefits. So I had to break out every barrier that I had to go to the gym and do it. And mate, the amount of memberships I'd buy, being all right, I'm going to start this membership this week. I get home, I can't be fucked driving 10 minutes down the road. So I'm the best thing I have to do is bring the gym within 20 meters of me, and then I can commit to it. So
you literally, but are you just doing pull-ups and bench presses?
No, I have
Do you have kettlebells or?
I have kettlebells.
Dumbbells?
Kettlebells, dumbbells. I've got a bench press.
pull-down machine?
I just do chin-ups. But I've got a program. One of my mates.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's got a gym. And I must say this, when I was at a really challenging period, earlier this year and the year before and all that sort of stuff, you go through those times. It was probably honestly the hardest period of my life, mentally, everything. Mm-hmm. And the people that show up for you in those times are just such people that you just don't, not that you wouldn't expect they'd do it, but they just come to you at a period. And I'd say the two people besides the closest to me, my family and stuff, was Will, who works here. He was just amazing. We'd just go for walks every day and he just helped me through it because he experienced some similar things. And then my mate Twisker, who I've known for similar to, your relationship with Tom, we're those mates that you don't need to chat every day, but when you see each other, it's always good. And we ran into each other in Noosa. We're on holidays and he has a gym and he's about his fitness. And he just said, mate, you need to fucking look after yourself. And he said, I've got these home gym kits. You're coming to my place. You're picking it up. We're going to install it. He came over, installed it, got me a program, called me. He's you got to just force me to do it. And I was like, fuck, like I want to be that guy for other people. So yeah, that was it. Like it was just, you've got to do it yourself, but you need people to help you as well.
So just pull-ups and bench press? No, that's great. I'm glad you found that. I read like three chapters of Atomic Habits, and this is what you're saying. Did you ever read that book?
No.
I got a lot out of it, actually. Yeah. I know it's like
I can't read self-help anymore. Yeah. So I
had it on in a plane. I found it actually really helpful, but it's just like the connecting things you don't want to do with things you like to do and all those things like compound.
Habit hacking and habit stacking. Yeah.
No, yeah, like that's... but also with gym, John Cena just said you just go and then you have to keep going forever. And as soon as you get that in your head, there's no end date. That was the big thing
it's
for me.
It's funny when you start going, you feel shit if you don't go for like 24 hours.
Yeah, I've taken a week off for the first time in years, and I'm like I feel so good.
You're a big squat guy though, aren't you?
Yeah, I can never walk.
You like getting the trunk.
I do a lot of leg.
You go ass to grass, like deep. You like deep
squatting, I heel elevate, and then I go down to almost ass touching grass, as you say, and then I don't walk for 2 weeks, and then I do it again, and it sucks, and I'm always in pain. You know, Ryan Reynolds said that about like getting really like I've never been to that level, but like when you're you're just sore all the time, and weak and sore.
But that's you got to consistently do it though.
Yeah.
Darcy's going to start getting to the gym as well. He hasn't been doing it.
Just do it. Like go and lift one dumbbell and then walk away forever.
He's never been.
Oh, you've never been? But you're looking. Are you mentally good? You're all good.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I have been, but thanks, Dyl.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You don't go to the gym?
I don't have a woodshed. No, I go to Salt Gym. We all go from here.
Salt.
Yeah, Salt. It's in Richmond. It's amazing.
Now, I've never heard a more Richmond football company thing ever.
Do you do, are you a...
None of them bloody go and get there and you're in a group of people doing burpees shit.
No, I can't do that.
My thing is I go to Anytime Fitness, right?
One of those
and
guys.
it could work for me. So but on this phone I can scan into everywhere. So I've been to Anytime Fitness.
It's an Android.
Yes. And I could scan in with my Android to Philly. I've been to Anytime Fitness in Philly, Austin, Texas, London, Adelaide, Perth. Anywhere I am,
we get it.
I'm set up.
Yeah.
And I'm very well traveled.
Yeah,
and I fuck hard still. No, but like
last thing, Darcy, we're going to go through our favourite Aunty Donna things.
So pretend you know a video.
Yeah.
You can say put.
I'm trying to think of the first one that I saw, which was the Bevies for the Boys one.
Yeah.
A classic.
Yes.
Big fan of that.
Shot that in Northcote.
My favourite by far, it's not a skit, but it's more of the pod, is the Christmas special, the 3AW.
Oh, 3AW, yeah, because you're from that world. You know the 3AW.
I worked there for like a year, and I can't listen to that without crying. It's the funniest.
Talking Melbourne.
Yeah. There's no car parks anymore.
No car parks. You go to Chadston, there's no car park. We did 2. We've recorded the Christmas ones already this year.
Have you done them?
Oh. And there's 2. We just kept going on about it. But they're so fun.
That is the best. I love when you call the producer young.
Young.
Tom's got gout.
78 years old. He's so young. But I think this year, one of us is dead. Like, I was like, now, John, you've been dead for 12 months. And he's like, yes, I passed away 12 months ago. Yeah. But no, that's because I grew up, my dad was a radio guy too. And I grew up listening to Bruce and Phil on Nightline every night. Not every night, but whenever I was in the car with Dad. And it's just it
was torture, mate. As a kid, listening to that.
Bruce and just poor old ladies going out. I'm just
my electricity bill, I can't work it out.
Oh, sorry about that, Betsy.
Do you know I grew up?
Do you remember listening to Rhonda Birchmore on the Kind Legs Kicking in? Yeah, it's the best. I miss it a little bit. Like I'm sad they're all dead.
Oh, do you know? My memory as a kid is I used to like go to my nan's house when Mum was working, and all I can remember is "That's Life, That's Love." That was like the intro song to
Darren Hinch.
Yeah. So just listen to Darren Hinch as a 8-year-old, and yeah, it was.
I turn on because I associate my childhood with 3AW, and at Christmas time, that is very Christmas for me, and so I turn on 3AW every year. And I'm like, I'm going to have a bit of a nostalgia and put 3AW on. And then it's like Tony Jones or someone going, and these overseas students come in with their machetes and I'm like, oh, fuck this shit. Like, shut up, man. Like,
It's actually the lower, like,
It's the
I get it, but when I was working on that show, like the stuff that you talk about what we do in footy media, it's the same thing, but like general, just world stuff. Like,
I for a long time on their Instagram, because there's no engagement, it's just old people just ranting in the comments. And I'd be like, today we're, talking about Flinders Lane. And then under I was like, I just kept talk about the bike lanes. Too many bike lanes. Mow them down. Like I just kept doing that anytime, any comment they were talking about.
could you split your one favourite skit you've ever done, personally?
Our new show, I think, is the best show we've ever made at the moment, and we're touring it everywhere.
Yep.
So we go to Dublin with a grand final night, and there's some things in that I think are my favourite thing ever, but I can't say them yet. But there's some sketches in this show that I'm very, very, very happy about. But yeah, ever. I mean, there's a run in our Netflix show of like where we do all these things back to back. There's a bit where like Mark gets upset, he tears down a poster, and then I tear down a poster because I'm upset at him, and then we go to a poster shop, and then they're out of posters, and then Zach has a speech bubble and starts to think, and then we see the and then cut it off his head. Like I love that this fucked run we did once. That's my favorite thing we ever did. It's in our first episode if you want to go watch it. But that's my favorite thing we ever did.
Amazing, mate. Yeah.
Thank you for having me, and
mate,
congrats
incredible.
on another year. I'm glad
Thanks,
you
mate.
got through it. You're killing it with everything you're doing as always. You're a very impressive gentleman, and you do great work.
No, you do better, man. And well done to you, because you've been, I think, the hardest thing to do in this world of media and acting or whatever it is to be able to continually reinvent yourself and do new projects, and that's what probably my next phase is. And you've done that incredibly well. So
I think you whatever it is next for you will be great. I can't wait to watch it.
you're a star, mate. Best of luck. Have fun in Dublin.
Thank you, mate.
You know what? You can use this one
Oh, okay, yeah. Here we go.
in Dublin.
Yeah.
Hey, when I see you, my penis is Dublin.
Oh, they won't like that. They'll be mad.
Try it.
Okay. All right. And if I have problems, you'll know about it.
Yeah, see ya.